Yes, hell yes. Mr. Red Gaze, I'm a big fan. I've been watching all your videos. It's an honor to share tonight with the Gaze community.
Hello, and welcome. We got something special for you today here in the Gaze community. We have the preview copy of Doorkickers, Panzer Demon by Scott McCullough. And if you haven't backed this yet, there's still a chance. I'll put the link in the description below. You can take a look. And yeah, just watch over this video and see what you think. Got the creative team right down here. And we'll move on to the comic itself. Now, even though this is a preview copy, I still don't want to spoil too much of it for you, in case you want to read it yourself and be surprised. So that means we're obviously not going to show the whole comic, but I'd just like to touch on some points that, likes, dislikes, just some features that I appreciate. And yeah, we'll go from there. So it starts off with a mission in the Ukraine. There's a lot of military lingo in here, as Scott is a military man himself. So if you're in the military, you'll be familiar with some of that. But if you're not, yeah, Scott does something really cool that I'll show you in just a bit. We got some cool team members. Again, not going to spoil their names or exactly what they're doing, but there's some mysticism going on. There's a strong man on the team, and yeah, just actually, I'd say more mysticism than anything else. But it's really cool how he worked it together. And I kind of like how there's some normies among them, just regular military folk busting in and helping with these missions. It's just it's a cool mixture. Now, one thing Scott does that I really like is, he takes the magic wording, words of power, if you will, and puts them in their own, blue bubbles. They're in, it's obvious what's going on, and, we got people, there's a member of the Flame Minion, which we don't know much about just yet, but I'm sure we will. Obviously, they burst into flame and go to town. But I like that very early on he's introducing these aspects of the world that we're going to learn about later. Now, like I said, there is some elements of mysticism to this, quite a bit of mysticism. And one of the things that I was referring to earlier that I really like that Scott did here is, he has these. All the text is in English, obviously, so you can read it. But he makes sure down here, translated from Ukrainian. This man is speaking Ukrainian. And I just thought that was a cool little element that he added to the story. And here again, Scott makes sure that he notes, SSE. If you don't know what that is, well, that's sensitive site exploitation. He does that a lot throughout this, terminology that civilians or, regular people might not be used to. He makes sure that you know exactly what they're talking about, and I think that's really cool that he did that, and definitely will help with understanding what's going on. Now here we have a scene where shit is getting real. Stilton is trying to take care of this flame minion, but he's not quite handling it. So naturally, our mystic goes to work, and blam! I love this entire page, especially this panel over here. That is done brilliantly. Again with the magical text bubbles. Yeah, Scott put a lot of thought into this, into every aspect of it, and you can see it. It shows. Now, once the mission is completed, again we have a lot of emphasis on the mysticism. Something is recovered that they need to look into and translate, and you have these three mystics back home at the base, where obviously our heroes, our team, is still in the Ukraine, but they communicate via mysticism, and I think that's really cool. But yeah, I just anything involving magic, I'm pretty much automatically down with. So maybe I'm a little biased in that regard. But this is something you don't see very often, is military mixed with mysticism, and I think that is just rad. That's really, really rad. Now, something else that Scott writes into this that I think is awesome again is we have spies, in particular a female spy, And, we're not really sure exactly who she's spying for at this point, which is awesome in and of itself. But, something you don't see a whole lot anymore, kind of died with the original Charlie's Angels, I think, is the, a woman using her female wiles to manipulate some men and gather some information or maybe plant some seeds. And that's just cool. It's cool to see that kind of thing make a comeback, because it's something that happens, and it's something that should happen because that's the real world, right? So yeah, kudos to Scott, man. This book is looking fabulous. There is one thing I did notice that, I wouldn't even really call it a gripe, but just something that you want to take note of. At first, here in the first part of this, it does get a little bit wordy. There's a lot of text bubbles, a lot of stuff to read. And but again, Scott denotes these military terms that you might not be familiar with. He does that throughout, and I think that's awesome. But yeah, I mean, I spoke to Scott about that, and he assures me that following these preview pages, we're about to get into some really epic stuff, some epic battles, some epic magic, and I can totally see that, because the way this wrapped up, it's definitely leading in that direction. So I'm really excited to see what comes next. I don't want to, go down there and spoil it for you, so we're just going to cut it off here. But yeah, so far so good, man. Scott, you pulled it together. This book looks great. I really like a lot of the little features that you threw in there, and yeah, keep up the good work, man. Once again, yeah, if you have not yet backed this, it's not too late. The link's in the description below. Pick it up, man, and give it a shot. And yeah, thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this, please leave a thumbs up. If you're not yet subscribed to the Gaze community, please click that subscribe button and become one of us. One of us. Thank you all very much for watching. We appreciate each and every one of you, and we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.